What is civics? Part 1, duties and responsibilities. Let's first examine the etymology of the word civics, the word origin. Civics is derived from the Latin root civis, used by Cicero in the phrase civis Romanus sum, I am a Roman citizen. It was his plea for the legal rights of a Roman citizen. The word in Roman times meant a Roman citizen, a free person, countryman or woman, fellow citizen. So that is the root of civics, and many other English words are derived from civis, many of which you may be familiar. Civic, number 1, adjective relating to a citizen, such as a civic duty. And in this lesson also we will examine our civic responsibilities. The term civics, which is the focus of this course, the science dealing with the rights and duties of the citizen. And you can see other words with which you may be familiar, such as civil, meaning trained or refined, relating to citizens, such as civil rights, which will be the subject of part 2. Civilian, civility, quality of being civilized, the manner of a civil person, politeness. Civility seems to be lacking in our political discourse today, sadly. Number 7, civilize, a verb, to bring up from barbarism, to train to live with others. Civies, number 9, a noun, civilian clothes as opposed to military dress. That word today also informally means to dress comfortably, to dress down, so to speak. And then you can see other words, civilization, uncivil, uncivilized, all derived from the Latin root civis. So what is civics then? Again, it's the study, the rights, the duties, responsibilities of citizens. And lesson 1, part 1, focuses on our duties and responsibilities. So civic duties. Let us first define what is a duty. Duties are obligations we are required to perform. We have no choice as citizens to be required to perform certain things. We must do certain things as a citizen. Otherwise, we break the law. We get ourselves in trouble. Some examples of our civic duties would include such things as, number 1, obeying laws. Laws keep order, prevent accidents, protect our health, safety, and property. We will have an entire unit studying our legal system, all the way from our police, law enforcement, to our courts, the application of our laws. But we have to obey laws as citizens. Number 2, we have to pay taxes. These are necessary to fund government and pay for services such as roads, police, defense, prisons, schools, etc. We will also study later ways in which we tax, types of taxation. Number 3, defend the nation. We do have an all-voluntary military at this time. We no longer have the draft, which we call conscription. However, all men who are aged 18 to 25 are required to register with selective services in case of a need for the reinstitution of a draft. So men, when you turn 18, within a month, you must fill out the appropriate paperwork and submit it, just in case, because that is a civic duty to defend the nation. Serving court. From time to time, you may be required to engage in jury duty or called as a witness, subpoenaed as a witness to testify in a trial. This is part of our legal system, which we will be studying later. But you have jury duty, the duty. Number 5, attend school is also a duty. You have to attend school. In our state, it's required until age 16. Many southern states have that minimum age requirement before legally you can drop out of school. Most states in our nation have the requirement at age 17. In a few states, it's age 18. But here in North Carolina, you are required to attend school until age 16. Not necessarily public school. It could any school, charter school, private school, home school. But it is a requirement, a duty, until age 16. Hopefully, our schooling provides knowledge and skills to make wise decisions and helps you to become a productive, contributing member of society. A civic duty. Now, in contrast, we have what are called civic responsibilities. What is the difference between a duty and a responsibility? Responsibilities, these are obligations we fulfill voluntarily. Remember, duties, we must fulfill them. We have no choice. Responsibilities, we don't have to fulfill these. However, we should do certain things in order to be good citizens. What are some examples of our civic responsibilities? Number 1, to be informed. We live in a democracy. It is your responsibility to know your rights, to know changes to laws, to know what our government is doing, to know what is going on in the world around you, locally, in our state, in our nation, and also globally. That is the importance of studying current events. It is a responsibility to be informed, to be an informed citizen, so you can make informed choices when it comes to elections. Speak up and vote. If you do not vote, you allow someone else to vote for you. We, the people, empower the government. The government exists to serve us, not we to serve it. You lose your empowerment when you do not vote. So we will study all about our elections and how our elections work. But in a democracy, you have a responsibility to engage, to speak up, and vote. Respect the rights of others. It's a responsibility. Again, you do not have to do that. However, you ought to do that. Your rights end when you infringe upon the rights of others. We do live in a very diverse society with different races, ethnicities, political views, social classes. America is quite a diverse country. We ought to respect the rights of others. We don't have to. But do you not think we should? Along those same lines, respecting diversity. You can disagree with people. You can disapprove of their lifestyle. You do not have to accept but you should tolerate. One reason why I like teaching in the public schools, it's a microcosm of our country. Different faces, different ethnicities, different races, different political views. We ought to respect our diverse nation. Number 5, get involved in your community. Do you have to? Of course not. Should you? We have what is known as individual responsibility, being accountable for your actions and your behavior. But we also have a social responsibility. You are not a rock. You are not an island. You are part of a community. So should you not contribute in a positive way to your community? Now, do you have to? Of course not. Should you? I think so. Contribute to charity. Again, responsibilities are not requirements. Duties are. Responsibilities are things that we should do to be good citizens. Helping others less fortunate than you. If you are able, not everyone is able to contribute in some fashion. It goes back to this social responsibility to help others who are less fortunate than you. I like to think of this as John Kennedy's quote back during his inaugural address in 1961. Ask not what this country can do for you. Ask what you can do for this country. Not to interject religion into this lesson, but I have always liked this thought. There, except for the grace of God, go I. That could be you in that unfortunate situation. That could be you who needs assistance, who needs help, who needs a leg up. Have compassion. Have empathy for those less fortunate. They say that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Let's strengthen our weakest links. Let's contribute to charity and to help those less fortunate than ourselves. And don't be judgmental. Again, you do not have to accept. You should tolerate. Don't judge. Try to put yourself in another person's position. Look at it from his or her point of view. And lastly, recycle. This is both a personal and a social responsibility. It's not hard to do. Put those papers and those in the recycle bin, and the cans and plastics and the bottles in its appropriate recycle bin. And maybe together, collectively, we can make a difference in preserving our environment, saving our world. In part 2, we will focus on our civil rights.